Hi, I'm Eckerdinik, lead developer at RackForms. In this video, we're going to be taking a walkthrough of a really neat job that shows you how to create a paywall using the Stripe payment gateway. What's really nice about this is that this job is easily accessible via the load example job. All you just do is type in Stripe here, and then it's called Stripe Paywall Demo. And the reason why I bring that up is because this is, like most example jobs that we have, a fully functional demo job right here. So you can load this job up, same as we're doing right here. You're going to get this exact same job. And then with a simple change to the API keys that you use right here, this job is fully functional, right? You don't have to change anything about this job other than our API keys, and you will have a full working paywall system. Now that said, the point of this video is to give a little bit of a walkthrough of this job, just to give you a better sense of how the job works. This will be of particular interest to developers, though even if you aren't a developer, this will show you how the job works. So essentially the job itself is broken into two main components. The first is we're going to create a payment form. That's what the first 2 pages of this job does. And then the second part is we're going to capture the user's transaction details and create an automatic login, and then manage the login for our paywalled content. So again, let's take a brief tour here of how this job works. So the actual e-commerce form itself is pretty simple. We just have a standard form page here with an e-commerce item on it. When we hit submit right here, we go to the confirmation page. The confirmation page has nothing special going on. It is, however, where we have our e-commerce delivery module. The options that we set for a delivery module is we set our transaction vendor to Stripe. I have live mode set to false. That is, we can run a test through here easily. Again, here's where my API key is. So again, you'd want to replace this with your own API keys. I do have require email address checked, and that is because I want to use the email address to help me create a user login for our paywall. And then finally, I have the go to this page after transaction set to process.php. Now, process.php is this page right here, and we'll take a look at this in more detail in just a second. Before we do, though, I want to take your attention and point it towards the access your Stripe transaction data via. Now, what's really important here is that we're combining 2 things, right? We are taking a payment form and then we're creating a login. And so what that means is I need to take the details of the transaction and then apply those to a later part of my job. And this is the bridge between those 2 steps right here. And in particular, I have this F Stripe charge ID and F Stripe required email. These are what is known as tokens in RackForm, and as you can see with our account creation page right here, we actually use these tokens for a database insert. Now again, this database insert happens when we redirect to process.php. That's this page right here. And the actual insert statement comes via this query module. If you're not familiar, a query module in RackForms is simply how we write to a database. And the job of this query module is to insert into a table called Stripe Logins the name, password, and charge ID that come from, again, here's these tokens, Stripe required email, we have an automatically generated password, and then the Stripe charge ID. Again, these fields, F Stripe charge ID, come from our e-commerce module automatically creating these values for us. When we create this login, then, again, we're writing to a database table. We're then going to show that login username and password to our users. And then when they click the link to go to the login page, we now present them with just that, a login page. We have a query module on here as well that checks those credentials. And if they pass, we're allowed access to a secured page. This is the paywall portion of the job. The only way they can access this page is if they have a valid login. The login itself comes again from the idea of us having a successful Stripe transaction. So a lot of data right there. Let's actually take a look at the job and see what it works, see what it does in real time. So go ahead and hit publish form right here. I'm going to select my paywall services example item and hit submit. RackForms, which is important to note here, creates this page for us. You know this doesn't exist here in RackForms. That is because RackForms does this for us, right? We don't have to worry about the payment form. It's just generated on the fly. Now to this then, I'll put in my sample values. I actually have a demo Stripe credit card number. I'll copy and paste that in right here. And then finally, I'll set a random expiration date. And again, because we asked for email address, so we can create a user account, I'll put that in right now. Now again, as a real brief review, when I hit this form, when I hit submit right here, we're going to process the Stripe transaction and then redirect to the account creation confirmation page. We then run a database query that's going to insert a record into Stripe logins, and it's going to use the values from my transaction to create a user account. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. I'll hit submit payment. The Stripe transaction finishes, and then without, again, any interaction from the users, we're automatically redirected to our account creation page. Now here's my username and my password. I'll go ahead and copy the password, and when I click the link to go to the login page, you can see now that I'm redirected to my secure page. Now the reason why I'm redirected to my secure page is because I've already logged in once right here. If I didn't have access to the secured page though, for example, if I copy this address and let's say in Chrome right here, that is a browser where I haven't logged in already, you'll notice that when I try to access this page, we're automatically redirected to the login page. Now the reason why I want to do this is to show you we've built a lot of logic into this form to make it as easy as possible for users to use the form, right? A lot of hard work goes into these guys so they're convenient and easy to use. Finally, again, in conclusion, I should just say that this is a fully functional job within RackForms. You don't have to code anything except, again, to change the API keys to match your Stripe account. As long as you do that, though, there is zero configuration for this job, with the exception of possibly some styling detail. The other thing about this job I should mention is that this will work just the same if it's a full page form or on, for example, a WordPress or Joomla site. That is, if we are using iframes, that is the embed option right here, all of our protected content won't be affected by WordPress. It'll simply be a window into which we look at protected content. Similarly, if we did this in a full page format, as we've been doing in this demo, again, the logic works the exact same. This makes it really flexible to create one form right now and then use it anywhere that we please. This could be on a Facebook page, again, WordPress or Joomla, or as a full page form. Of course, if you have any questions about this job or anything else that you see on RackForms, our email is info@rackforms.com. And of course, we can always be reached at our phone number, which you can find at the top of rackforms.com. And thanks for your time, and thanks for watching.